Did you know there was a walkthrough in Sleeping Beauty Castle at Disneyland in California?
We'll answer that, and we'll talk about Snow White's scary adventures.
I'm Timmy, this is my lovely wife Rachel, and this is Timmy Wah Presents. All right, folks, today we're going to talk about something I didn't really even know existed, even in the last several months. So I didn't know there was a walkthrough in Sleeping Beauty Castle at Disneyland. I thought it was just a castle that you walk through the main gate and get to Fantasyland, and that was it. Like,
I knew there was because I've seen the stairs, but
you're just keeping your secrets.
I just have never really wanted to do it.
Okay.
I'd rather ride the rides.
Okay, that's fair. So because we've never done it, all I have is videos on YouTube that I've watched and articles online. So I'm going to give you the best overview of it that I can, based on the fact that I've not seen it. So, and I promise you that when we go to Disneyland next time, I'm going to take video and I'm going to share it with you guys because it's something new to me, and I'm down with discovering new stuff about Disneyland, even though we feel like we've been there a ton of times. There's got to be always something new. So let's talk about the walkthrough at Cinderella's Castle, because did I say? Oh, I did, didn't I? Okay.
Let's talk about the walkthrough.
Let's talk about the walkthrough in Sleeping Beauty Castle at Disneyland in California, because Walt Disney, in his genius, he wanted to make sure he maximized everything about the park, and that he plussed everything. That was his word, plussed.
Oh, okay.
And he discovered that inside the building that was Sleeping Beauty Castle, there was some empty space, and cats lived in there, and they had fleas, and there was dust, and there was probably other critters that just
Ew.
made it gross, right?
Ew.
So he went back down and challenged his Imagineers and challenged them to make something out of that space, some sort of attraction to use that space up. And
Plus,
so
there's nothing really in the park besides that big, beautiful castle. There's no Sleeping Beauty ride or representation. Yeah. So I'm sure that was his other thought, right? Is let's give her a little bit more representation.
Yeah, for sure. So give them a year or two, and in 1957, in April 29, they opened the castle walkthrough. And using the original art designer from the 1939 Disney production of Sleeping Beauty, the animated.
Is that when it came out?
Yeah.
Holy man.
Long time ago, right? His name was Ivan Earl, spelled Eyvind. That's how you spell his name. He had a very unique and original sense and a design he used in his animation and in his artwork, and they wanted to use that aesthetic in the walkthrough, and so they hired him to do that. And so what you have is literally a walkthrough, and it's in different little rooms, and you go through the different portions of the story that they wanted to highlight. And so you go upstairs because it's on the second floor, so you go up the stairs. Now just note, as far as like folks like my lovely wife who might be a little on the claustrophobic side of things, everything's very small because that building, the castle, is tiny. It looks huge because of forced perspective, but it's small. And so he found this little space that he wanted to put this little walkthrough. And so the stairs are very narrow, and the rooms inside, everything's very dark because it's there's no windows. So just be aware of that. So I'll tell you a little bit about that more as far as like access to it for folks that are differently able or wheelchairs, whatever. So I'll talk about that in just a second. So you go up the stairs, and then little by little you walk through different steps, different portions of the movie. And what you have is like a diorama, so a big glass case that has a scene or a concept or something from the movie with characters in it, and it's very 3D, and it looks very nice. And then next to it, talking about that scene, is a very ornate looking book, like you're reading the Sleeping Beauty story, and it talks about that particular scene that they have in the diorama. So you go from room to room, different effects, different parts of the story, and then you head back downstairs, and maybe 5, 10, even 15 minutes, you're done. Certainly you can spend as much time as you want on there. Crowds aren't an issue because I think, like myself, a lot of people probably aren't aware that it's even there. And if they do know it's there, they've probably already seen it, and so that's it. Or they don't like it because it's dark and small and scary. Okay, so what happened though in 1977? In 1977, we were in a whole different world, right? The society was different, the media was different, themes and styles. People were wearing bell-bottom clothes, and disco music was amazing. So I mean, we're in a different world 20 years later, right? So 20 years later, they decided to revamp the entire walkthrough. They got rid of all Ivan Earl's artwork, and they re-put it in. They still followed the same pattern. They had the same kind of walkthrough and layout, but it was all very modernized for 1977. People were like mixed about it because they missed that original style of art, but they were liking it because it was very much more modern. They had more technology, so they could make things look better, and they could add, more depth and different things to improve the whole experience. And then that version lasted until 2001 when it closed, and that closed because of declining park attendance and spending levels of visitors in general, due to everything kind of being depressed after the 9/11 tragedy. And so Disney decided to close it and said that they put an announcement out and said it was going to be refurbished. Now several months and even a year or so went by, and eventually it wasn't being refurbished anymore. Like, it fell off that refurbishment schedule, and people just assumed it was going to be closed for good. 7 years later, in 2008, Disney announced that it would be opened, and when they opened it, it was redone again and was brought back to that original Ivan Earl design aesthetic from the 50s. And people were loving that because it's always good to be retro, right?
Yeah, I guess.
So if you go there now, it's open and it's back to that original aesthetic, that original design theory from Ivan Earl. And it's also even more enhanced because it was 2008. They had a lot more technology, a lot more sound effects, a lot more video effects. They had projections, they had holograms and stuff like that they could use to make it even more of an experience. So that's kind of a summary of the Disneyland Sleeping Beauty Castle walkthrough. And like I said, when we go next time, we're going to go through it and we're going to check it out, and make some video of it, because I think that's worthwhile to do.
I'll try.
So again, don't worry about crowds because it's not a super popular attraction. Now the other thing is I wanted to mention is, and it may seem obvious, but it's only operating at the Disneyland California park. From what I understand, the Hong Kong castle is also called Sleeping Beauty Castle, and it looks very similar, but there's no attraction in that. And at other castles in other parks, they have restaurants, and they have like hotel suites that you can spend $1 bajillion to stay in. So there are different little features in some of the Disney castles, but this is the only one that actually has a walkthrough. So that is that. If you have questions or thoughts about the walkthrough at Sleeping Beauty Castle, obviously put them in the comments below. If so far you liked the video, give us a thumbs up. We'd love that. And now let's talk.
Wait, you said that there were accommodations for wheelchair?
Oh, yes. Thank you for reminding me. The other thing that opened up in 2008, because Disney's very concerned about accessibility, they opened up kind of like what they did at the Nemo submarines. They opened up a side room that's just a little off the side that actually has a virtual walkthrough that you can walk in there, no stairs, and it's got a big video screen, and they basically walk you through, from what I understand. Okay. I didn't find much detail about the virtual walkthrough, so I might be wrong in some of this, so apologize in advance, because I haven't seen it myself, and most of the details I saw weren't about that. So just be aware of that. But that's cool. So if you're in a wheelchair, if you're handicapped, if you have trouble walking stairs, if you don't want to be claustrophobic, hit that side room. I understand that you need to get permission from a cast member to let you in. It's not like open, from what I understand, and that may be different.
Well,
too.
the Nemo one isn't either.
That's true. You have to get permission and get host. Okay, cool. Thank you for reminding me.
And how do I get to the walkthrough?
So you walk through the castle. If you're going through from the main hub, You go through the castle, and as you get out of the castle, so it's not inside the castle, you go outside the castle, through in the Fantasyland side, take an immediate left.
Okay.
And it's right there on the wall, the castle wall, and then you've got the entrance there. It's got kind of like banners hanging off of it and a sign that says walk through, I think.
Okay.
And it's right by the Bippity Boppity Boutique, which is right next to it.
Okay.
Okay. Good questions.
Sounds good.
Yeah, good questions.
No, thank you.
Up next, we'll talk about Snow White and her scary adventures.
Snow White's Scary Adventures. So Snow White's Scary Adventures, I love this ride, by the way. It's one of the ones I make you guys ride every time we go, because it is one of my favorites also. It opened with the park on July 17th, 1955, but it was not named Snow White's Scary Adventures when it opened. It was named Snow White and Her Adventures. Now, it is considered a dark ride, and it only operates in Disneyland, Paris, and Tokyo. So, like some of the other rides in Fantasyland, it was originally taken from Snow White's perspective. So it didn't have Snow White in the ride at all. Right. So it was taken as if you were Snow White riding along in there.
So like Peter Pan, like Mr. Toad, like Alice in Wonderland.
Right. So
it's one of those things that Disney, in his own genius, he knew.
Yeah.
And the Imagineers knew.
They didn't necessarily.
But the general public just didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I think that's sad in a way.
Well.
But I'm glad that Disney was able to flex and adjust to it.
Yeah. Well, because I mean, I even am like, well, this is Snow White. How come we don't?
Where is she?
Where is she on this ride? Yeah. I mean, I get it. I get what their frustration is. So in 1983, with the full refurbishment of all the other rides in Fantasyland, they fully refurbished Snow White as well, and they improved the effects, the sets, the characters, and they added Snow White to the ride.
But before the refurbishment, there was an issue with an apple.
Yes, I will get to that in just a second. Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
Continue.
So, thank you. So they added Snow White to the ride, and they added her in places like singing with the dwarfs and sweeping and caring for them and stuff like that. Now, a place that I've always had an issue that they have not added her is at the end. At the end, it's still just a picture of her and her prince, and it's not like her and her prince. It's just a painting on the wall. Yeah. So I've always kind of had
a little bit of a bummer.
But so yes, let's get back to that. Okay. So before they refurbished it, there was an issue, and this I believe dates back to the 50s, when the queen is changing herself into a witch, and she turns around from the mirror and she's holding an apple. The apple kept getting stolen. Who does that at Disney? Not only that, but you gotta reach over and steal it. So the apple kept getting stolen. So Disney, smart geniuses that they are, they changed it to like a holograph, right? Yeah. So again, smart. So that's pretty sad that they had to do that, but
pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive.
That Disney was able to come up with something
50s.
Like that, where it was basically like a hologram. They call it a parabolic projection. And so instead of an actual apple sitting in her hand, it was a projection of an apple.
And it looks pretty darn good.
And people that were used to like trying to collect it for their souvenir collection, like if I wanted to add it, they would reach out and touch nothing. I would have loved to see that. Like I would have laughed my head off.
Yeah.
Like idiots. Anyway, go on.
Okay, so a couple of cool things to look out for. As you're coming up to the ride itself, you look, it's kind of a flat-facing castle-ish type thing. And you look up at the window, and there's curtains. You see curtains in the window. And every once in a while, we don't know the frequency, but every once in a while, the curtains will part. And there's the queen. She pops her head out from the curtains, and she looks down at you disapprovingly. And it's really cool and kind of scary.
It is cool.
Yeah.
It's fun. So you may not ever notice it, but if you look keep looking.
Just keep looking for a few minutes, yeah. Because we have no idea what the frequency is. I don't know if it's every 3 minutes, 5 minutes,
frequently.
every hour. Yeah, it's pretty frequent.
You'll catch
it. Tip number 2. As you go to get in line, or in the queue,
the queue.
As you go to get in the queue.
How to use the words.
There is a gold book, presumably the story of Snow White, right? And just above the book, there is a gold apple. And if you touch the apple, something happens. And I'm not going to tell you what happens. You have to go do it and see for yourself what happens.
I love when Disney does that, because there's stuff like that. Like, what I think about automatically is the Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
In the queue, there's different little things you can interact with.
And we'll tell you about them when we get to that,
things
right?
will happen.
Yeah.
And it's fun.
And the best part about them is when you do them, and the people behind you or in front of you in line didn't know that happened, and then you do it, and they're like, "Whoa, what is that?
What is that?"
And it's totally cool.
It's way cool.
Yeah. And then number 3, as you get inside the castle, in the queue, you get inside the castle. You kind of turn left, and there's this kind of dungeon.
Little dungeon scene.
Yeah. And there's bars, and you look down below, and there's all these coins down there. People have used it as almost type of a wishing well type of thing, but it's a dungeon. I think there's even a skeleton down there. But people have thrown coins down there for years and years. And it's just really cool because there's coins from all over the world, and you can look down there and you can see just these foreign coins down there, and it's just really cool.
And there's dollar bills, and there's like fast pass tickets, and there's all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's funny because you're figuratively throwing your money at Disneyland by going to the parks and spending money on souvenirs and food. But then you're also literally throwing your money. Oh, okay.
Yes.
I think that's funny.
So, down to logistics. The ride vehicle seats 4 people, in the same style as Mr. Toad and Alice in Wonderland. It's just this little cart that seats 2 and seats 2.
It
it's
looks like
the shape
beds.
Of the bed. Yeah, it's the shape of the bed, and they're each named after the 7 dwarfs. The ride length is 2 minutes, about 2 minutes, and pregnancy is okay, and you do have to transfer from a wheelchair.
Yep.
Now,
there's also they close during fireworks as well.
Yes. Now, I think we've talked about this. A good portion, almost all, I think, of Fantasyland closes during fireworks, mainly because that area back there is where they launch the fireworks from. The fireworks come up above the castle. So if you can imagine, they have to launch them from back behind the castle. So they close Fantasyland during the fireworks. So just a little tip, they did do that big refurbishment in 1983, and next year they're going to be doing another big refurbishment. Right. We hear it's a big refurbishment. So we did talk about how there is no Snow White's Scary Adventure in Disney World. There is Snow White's, or there is the 7 Dwarfs Mine Train is what it's called.
Fantastic ride.
It's super cool. It's a little roller coaster, but nothing like it. Nothing like this. Now, there's not room to do that here at Disneyland, so I doubt that that's what they're going to do, but we do hear that it's a pretty big refurbishment, so we're excited to see what happens.
Maybe you'll get your ending.
Maybe I'll get my ending, yeah. Maybe I'll be the prince and Snow White riding away on the horse, kissing. You said you did hear that they might rename it back to Snow White and Her Adventures.
Yeah, that's what I heard. There's rumor of that.
Okay, yeah, so maybe they'll add her more into the
They might be
scene.
mellowing out some of the scary.
Because there are a few scary scenes, like with the witch with a boulder, like she's going to throw it on you, and then a clasp of lightning and thunder. And, it's a couple of little scenes where it's like, a little scary for younger kids. So I don't know. We don't know. It's supposed to be closed a big part of next year. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yep, and we'll make sure to keep you up to date on all of that. So thank you for watching our video today. We love you, and we hope that you guys are living your best lives and being happy. And if you're happy with this video, again, we ask you thumbs up, hit that like button. If you like what we're doing here, please hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell icon next to it so you get notified whenever we drop a new video. We got some big plans coming for this channel. I want to keep making it better and better for you. I want to get this number up a lot higher than 53. I love all 53 of you. Thank you so much.
Have a great Thanksgiving this week.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving, and be safe, and say I love you to your family and friends, and be welcoming into them, and enjoy your turkey, and as opposed to the little article that came out a couple weeks ago that said that jellied canned cranberry sauce is the worst liked part of a Thanksgiving dinner. Bull. I can't have Thanksgiving turkey without jellied canned cranberry sauce. So don't believe all the hype. Okay, we love you. Thank you so much for watching.
Tell us your favorite part of Thanksgiving dinner.
Oh, yeah. Put it in the comments below. Question of the day.
Yeah.
What is your favorite part of a Thanksgiving dinner? And you can be unoriginal and say turkey, or you can be more original and say something like candied yams. Whatever it is, put it down in the comments below. I'll put the rolls. The rolls, yes. So thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy holidays to all of you. We love you. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll talk to you guys next week. We got tons more video coming up for you. Stay tuned. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.